Coming up next on the Breadwinning Mums. If you could go back to the time when you just had Zach, your younger self, what advice would you give?
I would say everybody doesn't know what they're doing, so don't worry.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jane Lim. On the Breadwinning Mums podcast, we debunk the myths of working mums, cheer each other on, and show the world that it's okay to be a mum and still pursue excellence in your chosen area of expertise. Today we're chatting with Prisca Edwards, a fellow married breadwinning mum with an 8-year-old son, Zach. Prisca is the head of sales and marketing for Crown Group Holdings. She shared with us her focus, determination, and resilience as a young girl entering a drawing competition, and how her strength carried her through adulthood and motherhood. Here we go with Prisca Edwards. Hi, Pris.
Hi, how are you, Jane?
Really well. How you going?
Good. It's been a while.
I know. I think the last time we spoke was a few years ago, right?
Yeah, we haven't talked for more than 4 years.
Yeah. But you look the same still. The Asian gene.
Come on, look who's talking. But we've known each other for what?
Oh dear. When you were still working as a lawyer, when was that?
Yeah, so I've been working for Crown Group for 11 years.
Yeah, that was, then.
So it must be
then.
like 12, 13 years.
12, yes. When we were pretty much 10 years old,
It's crazy.
Just take us back to the beginning, I guess, from the moment that you are quite conscious and aware of who you are as a person, the young Prisca, whether it be, 6-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old. If you could tell us who were you as a young girl?
Looking back, right, I think I was such a I reckon I was quite mature. Because I think since I was very young, I never really cared what other people, around me say or do. So I remember that one of my earliest memory at school, for some reason, apparently I was good at drawing. And even though I really don't think so, but you were 6 or you were 5, and apparently I was good at drawing. So the teacher entered me into a drawing competition at Monash, at the very, very top. So my mom kept telling me after that, I just, I dressed up, I went there, I didn't even look back, just went in, drew, and just left. And, like nothing bothered me. It's just I was there to draw, so I draw and I left, I didn't win, but, it's just that my mom said, you were so determined. Like, it's not a big deal. You just go in, into a big room, like a hall. Yeah. I remember that we were drawing on the floor. So it's just all children, like toddlers, basically. And everyone's drawing on the floor with crayon. Yeah. My mom kept saying that. I couldn't believe, I didn't even have to talk to you or sort of motivate you or anything. You just went in and you didn't even tell us what you were drawing, and you just went in, did your job, and came out. But I realized, again, looking back, right? I mean, I'm 40 now, and I've been interviewing the millennials, right? And some of the questions that I asked them, what were you, doing, or, how did you grow up, at school and everything. And looking back, I realized that I was always very driven. So I was quite good academically, and so since I was, again, that was, the drawing was just an extra activity, but I was always the top 3, if not the top in class in primary school. And I was always like, you know, I guess a prefect, like, you know, I was always someone in class.
Yeah.
Even in high school, throughout high school, I was top 5, and I was involved in OSIS, you know, like I guess the student council, right? Like something. So I was always an active student. My parents never really asked me about school. My parents both working, and they were very, very busy. And I'm the eldest, and they never really, you know, they didn't have the time to know about what I do at school. They never even asked like how was school and everything. So but for me, I was always driven because I manage my own time. I manage my exams. I manage, you know, basically my homework, everything.
Yeah.
And to a point where, you know, because I was always the top of the class, my parents, I guess, took it for granted. They're never really like, oh, congratulations. I mean, I don't know, maybe because it's, you know, they're Indonesian, Asian parents, right? They just good on you, and that's it, right? Like, there's no present, there's no, you know,
there's no celebration, there's no such a great thing. No rewards.
No praises, nothing. It's just like, oh, okay, all right, good. So just life goes on, you know, and it's always been like that. But I know that my mom kept saying that, you know, when you are, you know, in your exam period, you always sleep talk, like you was sleep talking, like, I don't know what you know, it was all gibberish, probably biology or like physics or something. And I was like, I was studying, why didn't you wake me up, you know? Like, you know, so I was always studying. I was always I manage my own thing. All my affairs and everything. And one thing that I still remember until now, because it was quite I guess for me, eventful. So the family tradition is until now actually, every Sunday, my family would go out for dinner every Sunday. So it doesn't matter how busy my parents are, or for us, we were forbidden to go out with friends every Sunday night, because we as a family needs to go out for dinner. And out, like literally we going out, you know, to a restaurant or something. Because in terms of family dinner, we always do it at home, like every day anyway. But every Sunday is a special day. So there was one time, everyone expected it, so everyone got into the car and we started driving. So about 10 meters, 20 meters from the house, my dad asked me, like, so, you know, do you have any exam? And I said, yeah, I got an exam tomorrow. I said, and he was like, no, as usual, parents, right? So have you studied? And I said, I have been studying. I was studying, but I'm so looking forward to this dinner. I said, I really want to have dinner, right? And he said, so you think you'll do well? And I said, I'm not sure. I was like, I wasn't ready. I said, I don't know. Like, I just started, and it's a tough one, I think, you know. And so my dad said, so you do still want to go for dinner? And I said, I don't know. I want to go out for dinner, but at the same time, I know that I might not finish, you know. And so my dad said, at that time, he said, well, you decide. I'm going to wait for you to decide. And you tell me whether you want me to drop you off, but then you'll be studying alone, and we'll all go out for dinner without you. Or you go for dinner, but you have your consequences tomorrow for your exam. Yeah.
How old were you?
I think I was 13, 14. Okay. It was, you know, junior high school.
Nice.
Yeah. So, you know, it wasn't easy. And it was 13, 14. And he said that. And I still remember until today, because I felt like it was the first time I was asked to decide on what I want to do, like, or, you know, and be responsible
for yourself.
The consequence. And believe it or not, I said, okay, drop me off back home.
Wow.
Yeah. And and I still regularly I thought about that.
Yes.
You know, because I thought that was the first time I made a decision for myself.
Yeah.
Like a clear, okay, what do you want to do? And I know that whole life I so wanted to go. You know. So that was the first one. So I think I know I was always very driven. I was always mature enough to know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
And So when I guess I grew up to be, in a way, an idealist. There's always the right and wrong. There's always the white and black. And I feel like there shouldn't be a gray area. That was me before. And because I was always very driven, I was quite ambitious as well.
Yeah.
So somehow I think deep down I know I'll be working.
Yeah.
And hard. I'll be working hard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was actually going to ask, did you always know that you'll be working? Because coming from, especially an Indonesian background, right? It's more acceptable for women to be the stay-at-home mom and, take the passive role. But you don't, not for a second, did that cross your mind?
Well, when I was younger, especially not married, yes, I mean, I understand where that sort of concept came from because, especially because we're girls, right? So they're like, oh, a good life is where you don't work. You just stay at home, groom yourself.
Yes.
Basically do nothing and
exactly.
Do whatever you want to do in terms of, I don't know, binge on, at the time there was no Netflix, but basically, watch TV, go shopping, go to the salon, do your
hair. Meet friends for coffee.
Coffee after coffee, actually.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
I guess, when you came to age in terms of getting married or getting a boyfriend and all, I guess I wondered, right? And at the time, I remember that I was thinking, because I heard about men who don't like their wives to work.
Yeah.
I've never really heard about men who like their wives to work. They say, no, I don't like my wife to work.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard. And I did wonder, or should I don't know, can I do that? Is that really a good life? And at the time, of course, you didn't know, right? Whether is it really a good life? But obviously thinking, oh, you're not doing anything. It sounds good. It does sound good. It sounds like, you're just spending money, right? But then
you're being looked after.
Yeah, and with mates and everyone.
Yeah.
But of course, realistically, you do have to marry a good man, a man who can provide for you to be able to do that. Because if your husband doesn't earn enough, then there's no way you can do that. My mom has been working since she was very, very young, and I know her struggle. I know, and my dad wasn't. My dad didn't really support, what my mom wants to do, 100%. So I guess just a backstory. So my dad was one of those men. He didn't like his wife to be working.
Right.
And I remember even when I was, 6 or 7 years old, the complaint was my dad expected my mom to wake up every morning and prepare his breakfast before he goes to work. And he said, I didn't marry a maid, so I didn't want any maid to prepare it. I want my wife to prepare it. My mom basically said, oh, F off, no, I'm working, I'm tired, I want to sleep, I want to sleep till 9, and if you're hungry, you prepare yourself. If you're not happy with the maid preparing, then buy whatever you want to buy. But that was one of the small things why eventually they got a divorce. But I remember that. So my dad, that was one thing that was repeated, throughout my childhood, basically. So I wondered, and then I thought, well, how would my husband be, and what kind of life? Of course, I imagine. I imagine that if I don't go to work and all that, I imagine if I go to work and everything. But I have to say, my stepdad has been very, very supportive, and he came into my life when I was 10, and he basically raised me up like one of the boys. Like, he didn't really say, oh, you're a woman or you're a girl, you're different. In fact, he treated me even
extra
stricter. So my stepdad taught me how to drink. I mean, he was just saying, he said, start drinking, a sip at a time, not like pints and, no, like beer and whatever he was drinking. He said, because you need to grow up and be able to drink, because you need to handle your alcohol so that when you go out with the boys, you won't get drunk and with your first drink, And so he told me how to do that. He was like, if you want to try cigarettes, go for it. But, you just need to know what you're facing, because you will. And he never said no for me going clubbing. He just said that, okay, we'll just go home and take care of yourself. He's just been.
Sounds like an amazing stepdad, actually. Or amazing dad overall, step or not.
I'm his favorite. And I get whatever I want. But, my brothers would think that I got everything easily, but I beg to differ, because, my dad actually told, because I like the fact that I left home to study when I was 17. That was his well, not really his decision. He asked me, one day during dinner, he was like, do you want to go to Malaysia? And I said, what now? And that was right after the riot, in 98. And I've already bought everything for school. School was supposed to start like 2 weeks from then. And he was like, do you want to go to Malaysia? And I was like, what? Are you serious? And he asked my mom, and that was during typical family dinner. It's like, he asked my brothers. At the time, my brothers was 15, so they couldn't care less. They were like, yeah, whatever. And he asked my mom. My mom said, okay, if she wants to. And I said, I actually don't know. So he was the one who sort of like give ideas, and even my decision to become a lawyer was a discussion with him.
Wow.
So he was a very, very, very big influence in my life. We discussed. We were very, very close. So I told him everything. In fact, my mom always hated the fact that I told him everything during family dinner on a daily basis. So if my mom was doing something, shopping or something, I was like, I went to shop, with mom, and she bought this, or like, I went to meet, this, or my mom actually went this and that, or whatever it is. And my dad would be like, what were you doing? So my mom said, can't you just keep it to yourself? And I was like, no. So I was the messenger between my mom and dad, and my mom hated me. My mom was like, stop, don't tell dad, all the time.
You're too honest.
I was just like, why hiding? Nothing wrong with it anyway. But big influence from my dad, and until now actually. So we've always been very, very close, and he influenced the way I think. And I think since then, my dad always wanted me to work. Like, I don't know whether he always wanted me to work, or he saw that I'm that sort of person. So he always, the fact that, we discussed, and we decided, at least I decided to become a lawyer. And obviously that's quite natural to expect that I'll be working. And when I was in Malaysia, I still remember, important things that we were talking about. I always remember where we were, what we passed, and, all these things. And one of the things he said to me was this, and my mom was there, so it was just the three of us. And my dad said, you know what, you need to choose your husband like properly. My mom said, and my mom just, followed suit, and she said, we'd rather you not get married, and we're happy to, take care of you until the day you die or we die. And for you to be single, then not be happy being married to someone. And I thought, wow, you wanted me, like, you wanted me to find a boyfriend. And by then I was in uni. And but at the same time, you're saying I have to make sure that I'll be happy. Otherwise, they're happy to, let me stay at home for the rest of my life.
Yeah. That's got to be a very powerful not allowance, but freedom, right? To think that, no, you don't have to settle.
A confirmation that, look, you don't have to settle. You don't have to, just because people were asking, where's your boyfriend? Do you have a boyfriend? You're of age of marriage.
Yeah.
It's just a confirmation that if my parents are okay, what do I care? I can take my time, basically. But at the same time, of course, my mom will say, so do you have a boyfriend?
That is that struggle, right? The push and pull. Yeah.
No, but I think that was that. I believe what they said was true. I think they really wanted me to be happy though. So, so that sort of gave me that confirmation that, look, I can do whatever I want. I can be working. I just have to find someone who likes me for who I am, So, yeah.
Was there any struggle between any conversation with your biological dad? Did he ever push the role of housewife to you during those times?
Look, he left home when I was 10, so we didn't even have the chance. I mean, I saw him a couple of times a year after.
Okay, all right.
He came home just to say hi and everything, and my mom would just go crazy, with the mere side of him being at home. She would explode for nothing, and I confronted my mom. I was like, "Can you just control your emotion, right? He's not here to confront you. He's here to see us, right? And he'll take us for lunch or dinner." To the point where I was already in Malaysia. I came home and, obviously that's my brother arranged for lunch together. And for some reason, it was just me and him. And I was nagging. Well, according to him, I was nagging. I was saying that I'll get your life, together, take care of yourself. I mean, my biological dad had a lot of health problems. I said, take care of yourself. You're alone. Like, what are you doing? I guess I was in uni. I thought I know everything, right? So I just blathered and I thought, this is my time to tell him what to do, right? And left the restaurant. And I remembered that he was driving the car. I think he was so annoyed. And he hit the car behind us. Like, basically, he was trying to get out the car from the car park, and he just reversed and hit the car behind. And I was shocked. And he just left. And I went crazy, right? I said, how could you just leave? That's someone else's car. That you need to take responsibility. He had enough. He was saying, you know what? You sound so much like your mom, and I can't take this anymore. Don't worry about it. Let's not meet, he said. So that was when I was 18, 19. And I told my parents about it, and I said, look, Dad didn't really want to see me anymore. So that was it. I thought, for me, it doesn't make any difference. I only see him like a couple of times a year. But then years gone by, and every time I come home, my brother, his favorite, my biological dad favorite, was always saying that, sister is back. Do you want to have lunch or dinner? There was one time he did that in front of me. He called my dad on a speakerphone, and we were in the car, and he didn't tell my dad that he was on speakerphone. So my brother said, well, sister's here. Do you want to meet her? And he said no. He actually said no. And hearing that from him, again, that was one of the moments in my life where I remembered exactly where I was, what we were doing, because it was so important for me. And until now, I feel so hurt that my own dad didn't want to see me.
Of course.
And at the time, of course, I got defensive. I was like, well, if he doesn't want to see me, I don't want to see him. Like, why would I want to see him, right? Because my mom always said that, look, as children, you always have to forgive your parents. Your parents are not perfect. And you always have to be the one who take the initiative to do something, other, like, whether it's apologizing or, being, not just apologizing, but, taking the initiative to take them somewhere or to do something that's nice for your parents. The children is the one supposed to do that because, well, I think according to my mom, children shouldn't have ego. Parents would, so it's like we are younger, we should always do something. So, but then at the time I decided, you know what, that's it. Like, he doesn't want to see me, and I don't want to see him ever. But then, I got older, and when I was going to get married, my mom was the one who said, you need to tell him. You need to tell him that you're getting married. And I said, how? And at the time, it was such a struggle for me because I was telling my mom, I said, who's going to walk me out in the yard? Like, he's my biological dad, but I think he'll kill my stepdad. If I say that, sorry, I have to get the other one to walk me, because my stepdad played such an important part in my life, right?
Of course, yeah.
So I said to him, what do I do then? You want me to tell? Then he knows that he wants to do it. Like, because I'm his only daughter as well. Well, I think he remarried, but he didn't have any children. So basically, his only daughter. This is his only chance,
Yeah.
So my mom, and I guess my mom came up with a plan. He said, you still need to tell him, because it's not nice for him to hear it from other people. Like, you're still his daughter. Like, you don't tell me that he needs to hear it from his aunt, like his sisters or brothers or, all other relatives or neighbors, right? And I said, so what do I say to make sure that he doesn't want to walk me on the other? It was crazy.
Always plan B. I love it. Yeah. 2 steps ahead, right? Yeah.
And the thing is, because we decided to get married in Bali anyway, so my mom said, just tell him that, look, it's a small wedding. We're not inviting anyone. And, it's going to be in Bali. And, it's more like a sort of, what do you call it? Like the wedding vacation or like escape, something, wedding escape or something like that. It's like small. Yeah. I mean, it was a small one. My wedding wasn't very big. So
elope, not really eloping.
Yeah,
it's a wedding.
I think the picture that I was drawing to him was kind of that, like, like, oh, it's just us, and and we don't really want any guests.
It's never just us with an Asian family. At least 10, at least. Like
I wouldn't want me to start with that. Like, people just invite themselves to come. Anyway. But so that was that. I told him that. By the way, my biological dad has passed away recently due to COVID. I wasn't there
for your loss.
I couldn't. Thank you. I couldn't be there. And the last thing. This is quite, deviating from our topic, but one thing that I sort of feel like, I don't know whether it's lucky or I feel like I fulfilled the last thing I should have done, and I was lucky that I had the chance. So I think 3-4 years ago, I took my son back to Jakarta, and my mom said, you need to bring Zach to see your, to see your dad.
Yep.
And I said, he didn't even know I was pregnant. He didn't even know I had a son. Like, suddenly he's 4 and you wanted me to bring him.
Yeah.
And she said, look, your dad is not in the best health. And he might just go anytime. And you don't understand the meaning of having a grandchildren to us.
Yeah.
And she said, you should go. And I said, wow, it's you of all people, it's you who asked me to do it. Like, you hated him. I said, you, like, and my mom said, I don't know, maybe I'm getting older. She said, like, I just think that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I said, okay, I'll take him. My parents actually dropped me off, and he wasn't there the first time. And I said, see, like, I think I was still very, very bitter with the fact that he didn't want to see me.
Of course.
So he didn't want to see me. I feel like, why am I doing all this if he didn't want to see me? He didn't even ask. Like, by now he would know how I am and everything.
Yeah.
So even the wedding, I felt really forced, like, I was like, he didn't want to see me, I just kept going back to that. So that was.
He was there though in the end? Was he at your wedding?
No.
But he knew about it?
Because basically I took Ian to his house, and he was in as, my future husband or my fiance at the time. And I said, I'm marrying him. And we're doing it in Bali. It'll be small. That's it, right? And then I took Zach, because Ian didn't come with me at the time, to Jakarta. So, and then he wasn't he wasn't at home. So I said to my mom, maybe he's not free, we're leaving very, very soon. And my mom was so adamant. He asked my brother to call my dad. Where are you? What time are you coming home? Da, 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 da. And that afternoon we came back just to show off my son. Say, hey, this is your grandson, Actually, his only grandson. And so we came in. He was so surprised to see Zach. And Zach was obviously speaking full English. My dad was an English teacher before. Oh, well, he was a salesperson in Mitsubishi, a car salesperson, but then his English was pretty good, so he was teaching English. But, not as advanced as most people now, but teaching English, and he was so impressed with Zach because I think, he hasn't met too many children speaking like English like that.
Fluent English, yeah.
And especially because Zach looked
half
like super Asian.
Yeah.
So he was so, I guess, confused. He couldn't take it. I think his brain just couldn't take it. He's like, oh my God, this one, he's so talkative. He was so cheerful.
So he was amazed by Zach.
Yeah, and the fact that Zach was speaking Indo, and he was like, wow. He said, how could he speak Indo? So he was so happy and shocked at the same time. And he was just looking at Zach as if he's almost like an alien, but at the same time, like he felt like overjoyed, so much joy to see him. And it was just for 10 minutes, really.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was really for 10 minutes. And his English by then wasn't very good. So he was just asking me a Zach question, but Zach was like, you mean this? Like, words that's not accurate, but we know what it means. But to Zach, it's like, why are you asking? So they were trying to converse, but it wasn't, it was okay. It wasn't as... It's not like this, but it was good enough.
Yeah.
There was some dogs, so Zach was just so distracted with the dogs and playing and everything. But I could tell that he was very, very happy. And then the next thing we knew, he passed away. So my mom said, you know what? Lucky you listened to me. Otherwise, that is one duty.
That should have.
It's sort of like your duty to do that. And she said, at least, he's not going to wander. Anyway, I know he passed away, but, there's that.
Yeah, of course.
There's nothing outstanding in a way, like for us to do, or for us to, anyway. But so that was that.
Yeah, wow. Thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate you.
It was unusual, but
yeah.
I guess it's more like we don't really talk. So he never really pushed that, you need to be able to cook, you need to be able to.
Yeah.
My biological dad knew that academically I was always,
the smart one.
Yeah, among my brother, like the siblings. Among his children, I never had any problem. I was the one who basically taking care of my brothers, I guess, in terms of school. So he knows, but he never really said to me, don't work, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. Although I have to say, my mom did say to me before, my biological dad is pretty conservative because apparently I think, so again, backstory, I never really hated my dad. Right? Like I knew what he was doing. He was quite abusive verbally to my mom, and sometimes he threw things around the house when he's angry, but never really to us. When he hit the children, he did hit children, at the time I think it was pretty normal. But I never really got too much of it. One of my brothers is he hated my dad because of that, because he endured the most. So I knew him, but I never really hated him because I just thought that was normal, children get hit, children get abused sometimes because, you're not doing well or things or whatever, right? So I thought it was normal, so I never really hated him. I think just towards the end when, he said that he didn't want to see me, that I took it personal, but before that, I never really hated him. And my mom hated him, like really hated him. So we couldn't even talk about him in front of her because she was, it's like a trigger. Yeah, it's a trigger for her. So she always tried to, so for example, if my dad went out with my brothers, my mom will be like, call them, you know, get them to come home earlier. And, you know, always wanted to, I think she tried
protect them in a way.
Yeah, she doesn't want to let my dad just spend too much time with the children. So I said to my mom, I said, you know, no matter what you do, you need to understand, I don't hate him. And nothing you can say will make me hate him. I said, because, and then, you know, for some reason I said this and it was just, I wasn't really thinking about it, but it came out. I said, I never lost a dad. Because he left and a new one came. I never lost a dad, I said. And so I didn't feel anything. It was just, you know, someone who came and go. I said, you know, and it was like a light bulb moment for my mom and dad, like my stepdad. It was like, wow. Because my stepdad, I remember my stepdad actually pulled me aside and said, is that how you felt? And I said, yeah.
Yeah. You were so resilient. I think they were shocked with how resilient you were. You know, they were probably worried, oh my God, this child is going to be scarred for life. Her biological dad's left. And like, should I step into this new role? Should I not? But now, like, for you to say that, I think
I never lost a
show
dad.
them.
So, I always have a dad. Yes, it's a different person, but there's no gap in my life where I felt like, oh my God, I have no one. You know, like never. So I said, don't force your hate to me. I said, you know, because I'll never feel that. But I have to say, I was the reason why my mom and dad got a divorce. So when I say I was the reason, is this, they've always been fighting. So my dad left home when I was 10. But they only officially got a divorce when I was 18. So they left the status out there, right? I think because, again, Asian family, it's such a taboo to get a divorce. So I went to study overseas when I was 17. And in one of my, you know, I just came home and for some reason, I don't know why, I pulled my mom aside and I said to Mom, are you still married to Dad? And she said, yes. I said, do you know where he is now? Do you know what he's doing? Do you know whether he's working? Do you know whether he's sick? Do you know anything about him? She said, no, I can ask around, you know, we still have the old neighbors and everything, but no. And I said, so my biological dad also gambled. So I said to my Mom, I'm not here. I said, I know stepdad is here and I know he'll protect you, but who knows, maybe he gambled his money away and guess who these people are going to look for? I said, and you're getting older. I said, and, you know, I know my brothers are here, but they're only teenagers. I mean, by then they were only, you know, 15, 16. What can they do? Stepdad is one person, you know? And I said, you need to get a divorce. And she's like, no, we're not doing that. The reason why we're not getting divorced is to protect the children. I said, who's the children? I'm here. I'm telling you, get a divorce. I said, yeah, but, you know, it's not good for the children. Who is the children you're talking about? Like, you know, like I'm telling you, I'm one of them. And I'm telling you, get a divorce because it protects you and I'm not here. So when they come, he just said, I'm sorry, I'm not his wife anymore. I don't care what he does, you know. And we don't even know how much he owed. I don't know, you know, we don't know whether he will pass away, you know, suddenly or whatever it is. Like, we don't know, I said. He might be doing something really dodgy and got himself into trouble. So I told my mom that. My mom talked to my stepdad about it because obviously I didn't tell my mom in front of my stepdad about that. I just said, you need to do that. So my stepdad was always there, but they never really had a stepdad, like a proper stepdad. So I said, no, you need to get a divorce. And so the next day, it was very fast. The next day, my mom said, okay, talked about it with your stepdad. Yeah, okay, I think it's a good idea. So, and then we told my brothers, one of my brother full-lipped. He said, oh my God, we're now, we came from a broken family now. And I said, what's your problem? It's broken already.
Yeah. For 8 years.
Yeah. I said, it's been there. It's been broken. Like, what are you talking about? And he said, yeah, but people don't know, you see. Like, now they're going to see me as a child of a broken family. I'm like, who cares? I said, who's going to talk about it? I said, well, why are you so worried? He basically, went to his room and basically slammed the door in front of my face. And I said, Mom, don't worry about him. It's not affecting him. It's affecting you. So get it. It's done within, I think, 3 days or so.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it was pretty instant. Yeah. But then I still think that was a good decision, to be honest.
Yes, you're protecting your mom, basically. And you're studying law at the time, right? So you knew what the risks were and what the smart thing
at the time, I wasn't even studying law. I think I was still finishing my high school because I
wow.
Yeah. I think what came into my mind at the time was I'm not there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I was 17, but I just felt like I'm not there. Like, who's going to defend her? Who's going to, and I thought my brothers at the time, trust me, I wouldn't even ask them to do anything, right? So I was like, oh no, she's not there. And what happens, if my stepdad, I don't know, something happened to him or, and I was like,
or they fought and they separated. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
good on you. And I hope you like it. As an adult, I hope you can step back to that time when you were in that car, when your brother was talking with your dad over the phone and hear him saying, no, he doesn't want to see you. I hope you can see it now that it wasn't about you. It was a reflection about how it impacted how he feels about himself.
No, but I did say that to my mom. I did say that, he knows he needs to do what I said he needs to do. Yeah. It's just that he hates to be reminded.
Yeah.
And I was the one who said, get your life together and everything. He doesn't want to do that, right? So I said, it's not me. It's just maybe I nagged, like I literally nagged probably because I just couldn't see someone who's an adult and not and leave like that. It was just it was. It's not weird, but it's just, I felt so annoyed looking at it, And again, as I said, I mean, I think I grew up being very idealistic. I feel like you should do this, like there's things that adults need to do. And yes, so I think it was that. I mean, I understand all that, but I think the feeling of being rejected by your parents, it was hurtful. It was, I wouldn't say traumatic, but it's strong. It's a strong.
It's defining. It's one of the defining moments, I guess. Yes. But you have that fire in you, so keep burning.
Okay.
So what is life for you like now? What are you up to? Tell us a little bit more about work and family.
I work long hours.
Actually, start with your position first for those who don't know who you are.
Yeah, sure.
What do you do?
So I've been working with Crown Group for 11 years now. It was 11 years on 3rd of June, so just past 11 years. I'm now the head of sales and marketing for the group. So I handled all the sales and the marketing team. Work has been, I guess for me, work, it's part of my life. There was one time I remember that, one of my colleagues in marketing was saying that, her fiance was giving her hell because, she was working on Saturday and he kept saying that, you need to balance between work and, family life and everything. So she was like, I can't work on Sunday as well because I was saying we were busy and I said, can you do this? Can you do this? And she was like, I can't, I have to close my laptop on Friday night and then basically be there for Saturday and Sunday. So I said to her, look, everybody's different, but can I tell you how to make it easier? I said, for me, again, everybody's different, but for me, the reason why it's easy for me, because I accepted my work is my life.
Mm.
So I accepted it's not work and then home. No.
Mm.
Work is part of life. So for me, I do when I need to do things, but when I have the time to not work, then I wouldn't work, you know.
Yeah.
So for me, when I say that I work all the time, I do work all the time, but it's not constantly in the office.
You were working around your wedding as well, or shortly after your wedding.
Yes, so, I have to say at the time I was working very, very hard, right? Because I felt like I needed to learn. At the time, I didn't know anything about the property industry, and you know, I needed to learn fast. So I remember I was working from 10 to 10. I didn't even want to drive because I wanted to work while I was being driven from one place to another. So my laptop's always with me. You know, I was always in the office and all that. But now I don't do that anymore. So basically I go to work at 10 if I can, unless I have a meeting at 9, and I try not to. I try to have a meeting at 10, and I continue. But you know, my day now it's more like I don't really sit down on my desk anymore. So it's just meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, and then lunch with someone else and dinner with someone else, and you know, and the talk about work is, again, I don't see like it's talking about work. It's talking about things that I'm interested in. you know? And it so happened it's work.
Yeah. So that makes it great, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I do that. Of course, I have social life. I go out with friends and all that, but you know, we talk about anything and everything. But yeah, mostly now it's work. When I say work, I say talking about work, talking about property, or what's going to happen, But of course, we talk about their lives, our lives, Zach, Ian, and all that. But I find it like it's so how to say, blended.
Yeah.
That I don't see. Oh, okay, I'm not working anymore. So most night now, I finish after dinner. So I go out for dinner. So 90% of the time, I go out with someone else for dinner. And then after dinner, I came home. And that's it. I just scroll through my emails and everything on my phone, but otherwise not really, except for last night, for example, because I'm leaving for holiday and I was trying to tie up some loose ends before I go. Yesterday I finished at midnight, you know, just typing away. When I came home after dinner, I think around 9, and I just continued like non-stop until midnight. And I said, and Zach, because it's holiday now, Zach was like, I can sleep whenever I want. I said, yeah, sure. And I said, it's midnight. And, you know, and I went to shower, came out, and he was still watching. I said, I think it's time to, you know, to go to bed. And he's like, yeah, I'm quite sleepy. So he gave me the remote and we went to bed. But it's that, I mean, I don't have a routine really. I think my Ian and Zach have a very, very strict routine, but I don't have a routine. They wouldn't know what time I come home every day, but it seems like, you know, it's working well. So life is, I guess, easy, or if not easier, you know, compared to like 5-10 years ago, I guess. Yeah.
Because you are on top of your work. What makes it easier now? Because you are more experienced, or because, so you are married, of course, to Ian, and you have Zach, who is 8 years old. And Ian is balancing the juggle between teaching and looking after Zach.
Oh, yes. So, look, I have to say, Ian juggles more than I do. I don't really juggle. I only juggle when Ian is like he has that session where he can't be disturbed, and I juggle. So I guess if you look at it on a weekly basis, so Monday to Friday, that's Ian's, you know, taking care of
domain.
Zach. Yeah, Ian taking care. I just work as normal. Saturday is my day with Zach. So no matter what, I spend the whole Saturday with Zach. And Ian will go out.
It's his me time.
But to be honest, it's not that he needed it. We came up with that idea because I think one day he grabbed me aside and he said, you haven't spent time with Zach this week. And I said, I've been busy. And he said, no, he needs to spend time with you. So he said, I'm going to go. You do whatever you want to do. You want to stay at home or whatever, like just spend time with him. You haven't talked to him. And I said, okay, yeah, that's a great idea. And also because I think part of me felt a bit guilty because I could see he's so tired too. Like, because they always have to wake up early. He had to wake up earlier to prepare lunch and everything. So on a Saturday, he would crash on a sofa and just lie down and, be there and do nothing until, like lunchtime. So in the beginning, I always took Zach out early in the morning and I said, don't disturb daddy, let's just go and have breakfast somewhere. But now, I mean, he's a bit older, so he can sleep in as well. Or like this, I just do all my things in the morning. I come home, just before lunch and Ian will go out or do whatever. I just take Zach out, normally to the display. I'll take him to the display or to a restaurant or, meet friends or to a shopping center or whatever it is, but it's our time together. And then at night we'll be watching a movie together, like Netflix or something. So I have time to sort of catch up with him. So juggling, I think, look, I don't see it as juggling. I just see it as, no, I want to spend more time. I want to do this. If I can, then I will. So I still go to all his performance. If, pre-COVID, all his performance, I never missed any. Parents teacher meeting, I never missed any. Because I feel like even if I don't know, the teacher will be like, how was he with his homework? I'm like, ask him. I don't know anything. I try to be involved as much as I could.
Yeah. Okay. If you could go back to the time when you just had Zach, your younger self, what advice would you give?
To me, to myself?
Yeah.
I would say everybody doesn't know what they're doing, so don't worry.
That's so true.
So I was a warrior. I was a planner. So I always worried about things. I always worried about, what is that gonna, so it's not just me anymore. It was just, I'm adding a person in my mind to plan, to worry about. There's always something that I'm worried about, and and I realize that, it's not just about babies, it's about anything. No one knows anything. So we're just making it up along the way and going with the flow and don't worry about anything.
That's so awesome. Thank you for that. And last question, what's your alpha mom song? So when you have a deadline looming at work, when your child is sick and you don't feel well yourself, what song do you put on your mental mind to make it through the day or through the week?
So when I wake up, and I wake up around, depends, sometimes 6 and try to sleep again, back to sleep, and I'll wake up about 7 or 8. And the first thing I do is I say, Google, play music. And depending on how I felt when I woke up, there will be times where I feel like it's so gloomy, it's so sad, and I need a bit of a, I say, hey, Google, play dance music. At 7 o'clock, I'll be like listening to dance music because I just need that push. There's no specific one, so it really depends on my thing. But
Google.
It really depends. But most day I don't really choose the dance music. I just say Google play music on YouTube Music, so it's non-stop. And I think YouTube, I now know what I like and what I listen. So they sort of like play that sort of music. It's a mixture of Indonesian and for some reason they kept that. But I think it's not about. I don't have specific music to get me, into things that I want to listen and get motivated or anything. It's actually the other way around. I need a music to sort of calm me down.
Okay. So what would be the music that you go to calm you down?
There's always this one song. I always play Bloom by the Paper Cuts. It's not a popular song. But it sort of made me feel relaxed and I feel like it makes me feel it brings me a little more relaxed and sort of enjoy it. So it's nice when I listen to it in the car, or, just having tea, just to sort of slow down.
Yes.
In terms of going, go, that's always the case. That's the problem.
Yes, yes,
so I don't
that's
need
right.
the music to actually do this. I was already like, I'm there and I need to do this. But it's more on, okay, it's Saturday.
Keep you centered.
I don't have anything. And then I just play that song and, continue, look, my playlist is that. But then there's another song that I feel like it's sort of giving me a bit of a push. It's like, it's quite dramatic. It's called The Road by Havasi. Havasi.
Oh, I see. Havasi. Okay. I'll check it out. Great.
Yeah. Those are the two songs that I go to. Otherwise, anything will do.
Anything Google plays.
Look, I'm not a music person, but there's always it actually, for me, it changes my mood.
Yes, of course. That's the power of music, I guess.
It changes my mood, and I try to, when I'm in the car driving, I always listen to the radio. The reason is I feel like if I don't know anything about news, because I'm so, bogged down with all the work and everything. I know nothing about news because I didn't get the chance to watch TV. So when I was driving, I make sure that I listen to the radio to hear what's the current news. So whatever, like COVID, new variant or whatever, monkeypox and everything. But also, you know why? The reason why I listen to radio, because I need to know the latest music. I feel like I'm so old already, the one that I listen to, they're all in the 90s,
I'm still, exactly. I'm stuck on like Backstreet Boys, Christina Aguilera, the old style, and they were still in their teenage years. But
exactly. And I feel like I'm the one who they call boomers, right? So I'm like, I need to get, I need to get to know. I know this song. I know that song. So I try to whenever I can, but then obviously not at home or not at work, so it has to be in between.
Of course, when you have that certain 5 to 10 minutes to just do no work or home life.
Because sometimes you listen to the song and the next time you listen again, it's like, actually, this is a new song. I know this song. I don't feel old. Too old by then, because at least when you're talking about it, I had an intern. He's 19 actually, and he said, "Oh yeah, I cancelled my my concert ticket to Lani or something," and I said,
I know.
You don't know? I don't know. Never heard. Who's that? That was embarrassing.
I know. I know exactly how you feel. All right. Well, Pris, thank you so much for making the time. Really appreciate it. It's been such a great chat.
No, thank you. No, it was a great chat, but it's always good to talk to you. So we always
and
have
back
fun.
At you.
Thanks,
good.
Jane.
All right. Have a good rest of your Saturday, and I'll talk to you again next time.
Look, we should meet in person.
Yes, definitely.
I think it's due. So
I'll let you know when I'm in the city.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's good
to talk to you. Good to see you, even on Zoom.
Yeah. You too.
All right. See you then.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye. You too.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Breadwinning Mums. Please subscribe and leave us some feedback so we can continue to make the show better for you. If you know a fellow breadwinning mum, please share the show so we can cheer each other on. Until next time.